It's Time Warner Cable's local edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Jeff Prang is with us. He's a member of the West Hollywood City Council. And so I want to speak with you about municipal governments and the challenges they face in raising revenue. West Hollywood, a well-heeled city, so the tax base is fairly strong. You think about, for example, Culver City, which is also a nice city, but it has some challenges. And they have a measure coming up, Measure CC, which is a school bond. For a school bond, you need 55% of the vote to pass. For a specific sales tax, you need 66%. For a general tax, you need 50%. It's complicated.
Well, Culver City's going. It's a bond, and
Right.
they're bonding for. I don't know a lot
Schools.
about that for schools. If you have a bond for a specific purpose, generally the percentage to pass it could be higher, but I think it needs to pass by 55%.
Right.
To
But
raise those revenues. Cities, on the other hand, if cities can pass a sales tax increment, if you get 50%, you can pass a general tax. Because
Right.
in the general fund, if you want it for specific purposes, for example, building parks, then you would need to achieve a higher standard of
What's
2/3.
so interesting to me is you would think the rule should be the reverse. Because if you know where the money is going, you would think the voters would say, oh, it's targeted, so we need a lower threshold. Right. For general purposes, there's really no limitations, and that's where you need the lower threshold. So do talk to us about the challenge that this system faces. You've worked as a city manager yourself, or assistant city manager. What does this do?
Well, the challenge for local government is that that they're really restricted on being able to raise money. Proposition 13 says that any types of revenue enhancements need to be voted upon. The cities got around that for many years with different types of fees, service-based fees. That is now restricted. Those have to be voted on. Prop 218.
218 changed that.
So
okay.
It used to be that if you got specific street maintenance improvements, the cities could pass that on. Now those have to be voted on. So through a number of ballot measures, the people have essentially eliminated the ability of local government to raise money to pay for services. So they're much more dependent on the state and other sources of revenue. West Hollywood's been somewhat insulated from all this because we have a very strong tax base.
Even during the downturn?
Even during the downturn. During the downturn, West Hollywood was one of maybe one or two or three cities in the entire state of California that maintained a AAA bond rating.
How?
That we did not cut staff, we did not cut services. Because we've exercised a great deal of fiscal discipline over the years. We make sure that every year we have conservative budgets, that we set aside a certain amount of money in reserves so that we can do two things. One is insulate ourselves against a bad economy, and two, have enough money to invest in infrastructure. We just built a new 35,000 square foot library and parking structure. We were able to do that with a lot of cash that we had set aside over the years. We bonded some of it. But this allows us to invest these dollars, to leverage them to get the type of infrastructure that people need.
But does this create a scenario whereby it becomes very difficult for elected officials to keep cities afloat?
Yes.
San Bernardino went bankrupt. Stockton went bankrupt. I mean, if the elected officials had the ability to more easily create revenue streams.
That was one of the things that we lost over the last 30 years. City council members, school board members, no longer have the ability to raise revenue to pay for their services.
Is that a good thing? I mean,
I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. I think you want the people that you vote for to have a certain amount of discretion to make decisions based on real-time economic needs. I don't know where we want to draw that line, how much discretion we want to give them. But having them have no discretion means that your city could be in dire jeopardy of losing services.
Okay, his name is Jeff Prang, member of the West Hollywood City Council. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we thank you so much for watching Time Warner Cable's local edition.